When I graduated high school, I was a slave to my own negative mindset. I lacked any sort of confidence and ultimately was scared of my own shadow. One day during the summer, I went into our largest bank in the town in hopes to be able to get a credit card. Now, ironically, I walked away, declined for the credit card, but I had a new job, and this was one of the most defining moments of my life. I began as a teller making about $16 an hour, and this was a big job for someone with zero experience, no college degree, ultimately no idea how money even worked, with about $200 in my checking account. And this part in my life is called realization. During my first year, I got to see through the veil of everyone's personal finances. The people that had the nice house, a nice car, nice clothes, were ultimately the ones that did not have money, and at most times were the most disrespectful. I would get looked down upon for the car that I drove, that I was going to a community college instead of a university, and that I was still living at home with my parents. I was being judged by people that had nothing but material items in their lives to show their worth. Then I found that people that did have substantial amounts of money were at most times unhappy, dare I say miserable. And this is when I realized that societal idealizations are a trap. Now, being so young in an environment occupied primarily by much older adults led me to hearing hours upon hours of stories of their lives. Now, this had zero importance to me. It had no correlation to my life. However, I am so glad that I listened to the ultimate message that they were giving me. The message was buried behind eccentric storytelling that were cries out to help to their younger selves, to not prioritize the societal foundation, to chase love, to experience risks, that they were slaves to their own lives, that they would trade anything in the whole world to be able to be young like me. This is when I realized that I am very powerful being a young person. I ultimately have the pen and paper in my hand, able to write the story of my life. Now, this next stage of my life is called selfishness. At the age of 21, I was still a teller, and I had never made more than $30,000 a year pre-tax. However, in my investment account alone, I was worth just shy of six figures. I think that my soul understood the message that was being shared from the elders, or that money does not provide happiness. It is simply a tool or a vessel of energy to be able to strongly assist towards your passion. However, my actions did not reflect that whatsoever. And this is when the universe taught me a very valuable lesson of the rich, miserable person. From about 20 to 21, all I could do was learn about money, think about money, and talk about money. And I discovered in a theoretical sense, money doesn't exist. It's just fabricated numbers that keeps the world together. However, I was still obsessed. I would estimate that I spent about 7 to 8 hours on top of working in the financial field, studying the stock market, studying how people acquired money, studying different companies to invest in. And I became horribly obsessed. I would say that I went from being frugal to being a cheapskate, and that I was a very distant boyfriend, and that I was a horrible friend. And there it was. I had money, but I was miserable. It was due to me tying my self-worth to my net worth. This is so exciting. I think that this is going to bloom soon. I've had this plant since it was a tiny, just little guy. So this is so awesome. This one is starting to turn more green leaves, I'm suspecting, or growing more due to it not being immersed to as much sunlight. The sunlight is what brings out the vibrant red. So it's definitely interesting to see that change. He was also a little one when I had him, so very exciting. This next part of my life is called discovery. During that period of time, our community lost someone that was incredibly brilliant, one of the most caring people I've ever known. And our last interaction was something that I'm not proud of. And shortly after that, I went through 3 months of just absolute darkness. The anxiety got so strong in my life that I almost quit my job. I had to quit school. I stopped working out. I lost about 15 to 20 pounds. And I really had to be so focused on just making it to the end of the day that it was very difficult to be able to navigate where I was. And I would have traded every dollar that I had and gone into debt to be able to feel healthy again. But through this darkness, I was able to see the people in my life really come to my side and refuse to leave, because I certainly tried to push them away. And I'm so thankful that I had my therapist before that darkness started to happen, because he allowed me to feel grounded. He allowed me to see that I am having to go through just years of sadness and anger and fear all during this grieving process because I have compressed it for so long in my life. And to be able to have, my girlfriend stay by my side and really love me more throughout this was something that showed me that the worth in the world is that of your community, of relationships, of the people that you have in your life. And through the darkness, I finally was able to break the anxiety. And I'm so proud to say that I have been about 1.5 years now without the anxiety. And that I learned that anxiety isn't something to be afraid of, and it's not something that is negative. It's something that's just a defense mechanism in your life. And I was able to learn about love and to be able to share my emotions and to be able to let the energy go through. And that money truly is just a tool. And I was able to learn actually my skill set throughout that time and my passion. And it was a time where I was like reborn. But the most important thing was I was able to see who I am and be able to navigate what it is that I want to do and have the tools to be able to go through the dark tunnel. So now I'm in the stage of my life where it's all about developing skill set. So I went from being a 19-year-old insecure boy to becoming a 23-year-old, the youngest in my position at work, one of the top performers on track to make a 6-figure year. But this happened from the lessons that I chose to listen to and the difficulties I chose to embrace when I was younger. I've only been in my 20s for 3 years, but I can see how tremendously beneficial and powerful these years will be. I learned lessons like society's idealizations are nothing but a trap, and the judgment that does come from people is a reflection of one's own insecurities and overall their rot that is inside of them. And that money alone does not provide happiness. I do not believe that if I gave someone $5 million, that all of a sudden they're going to be happy if they were not happy before. I think that money does provide a tremendous amount of opportunities and open doors that would not be able to happen otherwise. I think that money can aid in allowing yourself to have a better life and to be able to pursue your passions and to be able to give back to people that you love. So money is powerful, but you cannot get your self-worth from your net worth. So now I'm in a time in my life where I have these lessons and I have the momentum behind myself, but I'm looking at the path ahead, and it is time that I let go. It is time that I pursue love, that I chase my passion, that I develop skill sets that will allow myself to become marketable in a time of uncertainty. To allow myself to not be giving the speech to a younger self about all of the things that I wish to do. I am not going to do a cry out for help in my elder years. So I think that your 20s can be exceptionally powerful, and I think that it's the land of opportunity. You literally have a pen and paper to be able to write your own destiny. But that's gonna come from hard work, and it's gonna come from sacrifices, it's gonna come from pain, it's gonna come from having no idea what we're doing. But you have to keep taking one step in front of the other. I think your 20s is time to embrace life, experience love, experience different things, but you also have to hone in on what your skill set is gonna be. I'm going to do it around my passion. I have the money as a tool to be able to back this, and I'm gonna give it my shot. I'm going to face the world head on in 7 days. To my 20s. Thank you.